Hope you had a good day. Hi, hi, hi. How are you? Hope you had a good day so far. What's going on? It's good to be here today. I told you guys I was going to come by 8 p.m. Nigerian time. Sorry. Sorry. I know that is later than that. Sorry. Sometimes time just flies and you'll be wondering where did all the time go? So how are we doing today? So today I just wanted to share Mr. J's testimonial. I posted it today on my social media platforms, and I wanted to talk more about it. He's going to come on live sometime to share it by himself, like to tell us about his journey by himself. It's good to hear from the horse's mouth. Let him tell you what challenges he had and how he overcame those challenges. But today I'll be giving us like a general overview. But when he's settled in and when he's ready, he has some things to settle. And once he's settled, then he will come by himself to share it with you guys. But it's very good to learn from people's experiences, because really there's nothing that is new under the sun. That challenge that you are facing right now in your relocation journey or your application journey, somebody have faced that same challenge and they have overcome it. And that's the reason why I share the people's stories and the people's journeys, just so that you would learn one or two things from it, right? So that if you are experiencing the same thing, you can know how to navigate it or what to do about it. Okay. So let's talk about Mr. J. I don't want to call his full name. And I like, but many times I'm sharing testimonies of women. But today I'm sharing a man's testimony, and it's really exciting to be sharing a man's testimony because we have mostly women that go through the process and work with us. So Mr. J met me in 2020. We're in 2024. Listen to the timelines very well. He met me in 2020. At this time, I was selling another product, then how to get jobs and relocate to Canada. At that time, it was a lot easier relocating, opportunities to relocate abroad from your home country using jobs. So I was selling that product then. But COVID there really scattered a lot of things. Like after COVID, things became so difficult. It scattered a lot of things. So when it was no longer working like before, I stopped talking about it and I stopped selling that, because I don't want to teach you something that is not working. That's unfair, right? So we pivoted to relocating via the study pathway, and that was how I started selling the study abroad masterclass then. But he had bought that product then, trying to like relocate via job because he had work experience. Like I said, he has 20 years study gap. 20 years study gap. I'm sure many of you have heard that you can't relocate abroad if you have study gap. Anyway, so he tried that and that didn't work for him because again, like I said, they closed during COVID, they closed like many of the relocation pathways, they closed it, including like getting a job. Many people even lost their job at that time too. So right. Then in 2021, when he contacted me, I told him, I'm like, you know what, you need to pivot to the study pathway. Even I have pivoted from this course that I was selling to start talking about relocation via study pathway. And the reason why I did that is because this thing is no longer working. So you have to pivot to the study pathway. So 1 year later, I decided to start. But again, he was a busy man with work and family and different things dragging for his attention. So it took his time with his application. But then again, I know that from time to time we used to have like checking points. After I did the study abroad masterclass, we used to have checking points. How are things going with you? Hope you are doing your application. And before now, he had relied on agents. In the past, before he ever met me, he had relied on agents, to help him with relocation, and they have either scammed him or something did not work out. And this is why I always say, like, I'm a proponent for, like, you always hear me talk about like doing your applications by yourself. The reason why I say that is because there's nobody that has your interest like you. Agents, consultants, anybody, they are busy with so many people's applications. So they have a lot of things that are fighting for their attention. But if you have the right knowledge, you will do your application very well. Anyway, so I told him that this application, you can do everything by yourself, from applying for the whole school process to applying for visa for yourself and your family. Like, you got this, you can do it yourself. And he continued to follow me on social media, where I kind of motivate, talk about like other people's stories, what other people are doing, so things like that. And he continued to follow that up. Again, he had a challenge, or whatever I perceived, something that he perceived as a challenge, is study gap. And this is the thing with study gap. I tell people that A lot of people think that when they have study gap, they stand no chance. I'm going to finish talking about this man's story, then I'm going to address study gap today. In today's live session, I'm going to address study gap. So just stay till the end because we're going to talk about study gap and how you can address it. So I let him know that study gap is not your problem. And in my trainings, we teach you how to address study gap. If you think that is a problem, what do you do? How do you address it? How do you make yourself stand out even if you have study gap? I tell you guys, I had 7 years study gap. Again, 7 years to 20 years, that's a lot. The difference is a lot, right? But I still had a study gap. So he has 20 years study gap, and we showed him how to address that study gap in his application. And he did it, and he got the admission. He went ahead, applied for visa, because visa is another place where you also need to explain that study gap as well, because sometimes immigration officer may look at it and say that, yeah, this person is you're probably established, why you leaving everything behind to come and do a master's degree. Again, that's another thing that he learned. How do you address this study gap so that you don't only scale through the admissions process, but you also scale through the visa process? And he applied for visa for himself and his family, and they all got visas, and they're in Canada. Now let's talk about study gap. When we talk about study gap, what comes to mind? Tell me, for you guys, what comes to mind when you hear study gap? I want to know from you so I know where we are. When you hear study gap, what does study gap mean to you? What is study gap? Tell me. What is study gap? I've been talking study gap here. So don't tell me that you don't know what is study gap and if you just allow me to be talking. You will not learn like that. I know that we know. So tell me, what's study gap? When you hear study gap, what does study gap mean to you? I'm waiting. If people don't tell me, we will not continue because I will not be here talking to myself. Let me charge my phone. I always have the problem of low batteries. Whoopsie. I'm trying to plug my phone. Okay, plugged. What's wrong with this thing? Oh, God. Okay, so somebody says gap you have between your last program of study and now that you want to go back to further your study. Yeah, that's it. That's the answer. Thank you. That's it. So now there are different kinds of study gap. There is employed study gap and there is unemployed study gap. Employed study gap means that, let's say you finish school in 2010, and now in 2024 you want to go to graduate school. You have 14 years study gap, but within this time, maybe you're working in a bank, working in a company, running a business, um yeah, you're self-employed, doing your own thing, like you are your own employer, but you were doing something. That is called employed study gap. Then there is also unemployed study gap. Unemployed study gap is study gap that you were not doing it. Let's say you tried to get a job, you didn't get a job, you didn't have money to do a business, so you really were not doing anything. Some women, especially women, they take some time off after they graduate from school. When they start having kids, they take some time off to like nurture their kids until their kids are like of age. So they're not working. Like they're not running a business, they are not working, so they don't have anything to write on their CV because they are building their families. That is an unemployed study gap. Now that I've said this, I know that there are some women that are listening to me that are in this boat of unemployed study gap where you were raising your kids. Do you know that in Canada, there are some funding opportunities for women that want to go back into their career after they have taken time off to raise their kids? Because it's common all over the world, not only in Nigeria, where women take some time off career just to raise kids. Some people take 10 years, some even more, some less. It's common. And in Canada, they have funding opportunities that they have created for such women just to give them the opportunity to enter back into their career. Because many people will want to go back to school and from school now proceed from there because they've been out of school for many years. Anyway, so that is unemployed. That is unemployed study gap. Now, for many of you, you have something called employed study gap because you are either running a business or you are working at a job. So Why do you think that the study gap will be a problem? Because for a fresh graduate, they would say, okay, yeah, I just finished school, I'm going to further my studies. So they are leveraging on the fact that their courses, what they have learned, is still fresh in their head, like they just completed a previous education. That's a fresh graduate. For you, that has study gap, but you have been employed, you are leveraging on your work experience, because there are skills that you pick up from your work experience that you are going to use that will help you during graduate school. So you have to leverage on your work experience. So there's value even in your study gap, but many people don't know. You know, when my supervisor hired me to work in his lab, he told me after I started working together and we became close, he told me that one reason why he chose me amongst all the other, because he received a lot of applications. One reason why he chose me, because he saw Baker Hughes on my CV. And he knew that, okay, this person has work experience. This person has worked in the field. This person knows a lot about safety. So it will be easier for me to work with this person than for me to go and start working with a fresh graduate. She brings maturity to the team as well. So that's why he chose me. So again, the thing that you are thinking that is a disadvantage to you is what some people are looking for. This study gap that you think is your disadvantage is what some people are looking for. You know, there are some scholarship opportunities that they will tell you that you need to have leadership experience before you to qualify for this scholarship. And the only way for you to have gotten this experience is for you to have worked for at least 5 years. You know that. They'll tell you that you need to have worked for at least 5 years for you to qualify to apply for this funding opportunity. So again, at the end of the day, sometimes we disqualify ourselves from certain opportunities as a result of our own ignorance. It's not because we have done research and we have seen that, oh yes, study gap is a problem. Have you ever seen? It's only limited external scholarship opportunities. And when I say external scholarship opportunities, those are the likes of like Commonwealth, those big scholarships that anybody can apply. It's only a few of those scholarships that will tell you that you should have graduated in the last 2 years or in the last 3 years or in the last 1 year, fresh graduate. It's very limited scholarship. You would hardly ever find scholarships that will tell you that, oh, okay, some of them have age, very few of them too that have age. But overall, generally, you would hardly find the scholarship that you say, okay, yes, if you have 10 years study gap, you are not qualified. You hardly find this happen. It's very rare. So it means that you are eligible. However, it is now how do you present this study gap? So this is what I always talk about, that at the end of the day, it is packaging and mindset. How do you present it? I'll tell you another story. Yesterday, I was talking to one of our coaches. There's one girl that took my master class in 2022. Her name is Mercy. I posted about her yesterday because yesterday me and her were on video call, screaming our lungs out because she got her US visa approved. I'm sharing this story because I want you guys to begin to think about mindsets. Let me tell you about Mercy. When Mercy came to meet me to sign up for the study abroad crash, because she did not have money, but she came to meet me to sign up for the study abroad masterclass. I mean, she didn't have money, but she came to meet me. She made inquiries, and she has a skincare brand where she makes cream, body scrub, all those things, skincare related products. That's what she does. She had a previous degree in communications. After she graduated, of course, there are no jobs. So she decided to do what her hands school's fine. And she has been running a skincare brand for a few years. I'm establishing something here. Mercy has a study gap, an unemployed study gap, an employed study gap rather, because she was running a business, her own business. So she can put all the skills that she used to run her business on her CV. Now she has an employed study gap, and she has been doing a skincare business different from what she studied in school. So when she came to meet me, she didn't have money. So I told her, yeah, this is the price and everything. And she told me that she was coming. I think like maybe a month later or so, she came back and she was ready to sign up. And she told me, she was like, that she had to do several sales in her business for her to raise this money because she didn't have money. But she's trusting that she has faith, and she trusts me, and she trusts that everything will work in her favor as she's paying this money. So she paid for the study abroad masterclass in 2022. So she did learn a lot. Like Mercy I like her. Like, she's a serious person. She's diligent in her work. You tell her to do something, she will do it. She did not feel like she owned me because she had paid for something. Anyway, so she took the class, she started doing application. In that year, 2022, Mercy applied to 5 schools against 2023. So she applied 2022 towards 2023 resumption. She applied to 5 schools. Mercy's application, I can tell you that her application was good. All 5 schools came back denied. All 5. When Mercy came to tell me, my heart was broken for her because I know that this kind of thing makes people to give up. But you know what Mercy told me after she told me that she was denied? She was like, please don't give up on me. Don't give up on me. I know that I can get this thing. This is me that I'm supposed to be the one telling her this thing, that she shouldn't give up. But she was telling me, don't give up on me. I know that I can do this and I'm going to try again next year. That even though she feels bad, she's going to try again next year. In my mind, I'm thinking, who are you? Like, who are you, Mercy? The only reason why I was saying that is not because she had done anything wrong, but like the way she approached it and her mindset, the way she embraced it, I'm like, wow, I could see that this is the kind of person that would succeed, because that thing that was supposed to put her down did not put her down. 2023 came, but I know that I kept saying from time to time, I'll send Mercy messages, ginger her, because I follow her on Instagram as well. So I see her when she's doing, I see her post. So sometimes when I see her post, I will just quickly send her a message and continue to ginger. And she's like, no, don't worry. She said, no, don't worry. That 2024 is her year. So she applied again in 2023 against 2024. So we did everything again, reviewed fresh documents, tried to close all the gaps, like everything. She was applying for a master's degree in communication. Remember, I said she has bachelor's degree in communication, study gap, employed study gap, different from what she was doing, running a business. So we started again in 2023. 2023, Mercy submitted another 5 applications. We were here waiting. I received message from Mercy one day. I was hoping for good news. Mercy said, no, they denied me. I'm like, my God, 4 to go. The second one came. Second one was good news. She was like, yeah. I got this one and I got the funding. She was so excited. So she got that, the second one, and she got like full funding with second one, but she still had 3 others she was waiting for. The one in Sweden came. She got the admission into the school in Sweden. Swedish Institute Scholarship did not come through. The 4th one came. She got the admission and she was still waiting because they're like, at a separate date, they will send information about the funding. So she was still waiting for that funding. I told her, about when she was waiting, I'm like, Mercy, if you wait until a certain date, I told her the date, if you wait until this date and nothing has come, accept the other school that has given you full, because she went to compare the 2 funding amounts and see which one is better for her, like which one is more money, compare like the living expenses. By the time you compare everything, she went to do a comparison to help her make a decision. But the second one wasn't forthcoming. I'm like, Mercy, just accept this one that you already have in your hands and like take that one. Let's start visa application process, because you know how sometimes getting a date for US visa takes time. So let's start visa application process. So I put her through, Mercy, you need to show proof of home ties. How do you show proof of home ties? I spoke to her. What do you have? She has a business, or you need to start organizing your business. If your business is not registered, start registering it. Your bank statement, your business bank statement. If you don't have all of these things, you have to start working on these things towards your visa application, because these are the documents you're going to package together for you. So I ran through all of these things that she needs to do to show proof of home ties, to show that she has something tangible, to show that she's going to leave this business while she goes to school, somebody running it. So all those kind of things that you need to put together. So we ran through all of those things. And Mercy goes to work. Like when you tell Mercy something, she's not relying on you. She's not waiting for you to think for her. Like once you have given her like the direction, Mercy knows, like she goes to work. So Mercy went ahead and she did it, and she started the visa application process. I'm checking how far. Say she's on visa application process. Now, another thing I want you guys to notice that Mercy also messages me a lot, just to ask questions, to follow up. Then we are still waiting for the other 2. The one she had gotten admission, we are still waiting to hear back from the funding. Nothing yet. The last school, they've not said anything yet. She's still waiting. Yesterday, I saw so many missed calls on my Instagram from Mercy. I'm thinking, am I holding Mercy's kidney? Why is Mercy calling me like this? She now messaged me, Dr. Zino, please, this thing I want to tell you, I cannot tell you, like I cannot type it as text message. It must be video call. At that time I was in the library. I'm like, okay, let me step out and call Mercy. As I was stepping out of the library, as I was calling her, as I was stepping out. Once she picked, she was screaming. Like, I just knew it had to be the visa. Like, I knew it had to be the visa. She was screaming in excitement. Even myself, I followed her to scream because if somebody's, I didn't know yet, but I was suspected as the visa. But if somebody's screaming like this in excitement, man, I have to be excited with her too. So I was so excited. Whatever it is, like, I'm happy with you. I was screaming to her, like, please tell me it's the visa. She showed me the paper for her visa approval. I was so happy for Mercy. And she said it again. Thank you for not giving up on me. I'm like, I should be thanking you for not giving up. Because some other person think that this thing is magic and they will just give up. I should, like, I appreciate you for pushing and not giving up, Mercy. You know what it is for 5 rejections to hit you? Some people would have given up. So the whole of application process now finally took her 2 years instead of 1 year. And now she has a visa and she's relocating to the US. In fact, the whole visa story is another thing. But Messi, how did you get dates? Like I said, this lady is proactive. Like when Messi, if I'm going to tell Messi, if Messi is available and she's okay and she wants to work with me, I like her a lot. I'll be like, come, let's work together. Because I asked her, how did you get this? Because I know I'm getting US interview dates. It's always fully booked. And she's like, yeah, she joined one WhatsApp group that if there is available date, they'll post it that one date has opened. So people will rush in to go and pay service fee or do whatever they do online. So she was in that group. And also, she also found like all these US visa interview groups where people go for interviews and they come and drop, okay, this is the question that they asked me, they asked me this, they asked me that. So that she has an idea. She was not waiting for me to come and do all these things for her. She went ahead to find the resources for herself. Just as she has an idea, okay, what kind of questions do they ask? To get a feel of kind of questions they ask. So she prepares the answer. And there was a time I talked about another of my people too that got visas for himself and his family. And one of the things that the guy told me, because again, when you go to these US visa interviews, some of you have gone there, you see that there are 99 people, right? But you cannot take it on that person's denial. And the guy had said one of the tips the guy said he did was that he was looking at the officer's eyes. So as the visa officer is asking him questions, so you see some other people they are looking away, they cannot maintain eye contact. He was maintaining eye contact. And this is something that Mercy had heard when I shared it then, and she's like, okay, yeah, she's going to maintain eye contact. So this man, everybody that had gone ahead of her to this man, the man had denied them. And she went to the man as she was talking. She was trying to maintain eye contact. I know sometimes these people are typing, they are looking down, type, look up, look down, type. Actually, anytime the man looks up, she makes sure that she's looking him in the eyes, like she maintained eye contact. There's no being timid, looking away, looking. And her visa was approved. Even everybody that was there in the room were in shock. But then I'm sharing this story again to tell you, to highlight that, okay, even if this person had study gap, she was hit with some rejections the year before, she still did not give up. She was proactive, putting her own effort to everything that she had learned, because sometimes there are some things that are happening in the streets that is the people that are currently in the process that know. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Like, if you are in the process, the things that are happening in the streets, like outside, some things that people are doing corner, that they cannot bring out to the public, if you are in the process, you would know all of this information and okay, what information would help me. So you're able to filter, especially when you know what you are doing, you're able to filter good from bad. Which of this information will help me? Like where the WhatsApp group that she joined, where she said if there any date, somebody come and share, oh, these dates have become available. People rush there to go and sign, to go and try to book an interview on that date. That is a way of being proactive. If I'm teaching you, I can only tell you this, but I'm not in that WhatsApp group. I don't have the link to the WhatsApp group. It's you that is on the streets, in the journey. When I say on the streets, not that you're outside on the streets, I mean like in the journey. You that is in the journey, you are the one, you will have all of this information, even more than, because I don't know, I know that this WhatsApp group exists because my people tell me about the WhatsApp group, but I'm not in the WhatsApp group. I don't have the link to that WhatsApp group. I don't know who is the owner of the WhatsApp group. I have zero idea about the WhatsApp group. So there are some things that even after you have been taught as the applicant, you have to also be proactive. You need to put your ears down. What is happening? What is happening here? And when you have knowledge, even if you are in those groups, you can now filter out what is good from what is bad. You know what to take and what not to take. Because in those groups, I will be sincere with you. In those groups, there's some information that are useful there. There's some information that are not useful. But if you know what you are doing, you can be able to filter good from bad and take the one that will benefit you and leave the one that will not benefit you. Now, this is what Messi did, and Messi is going to the US. Like, she's going next month, and I was telling her yesterday, where are you going to? Like, what state is your school? Let me see. Maybe because of you, I'll come to the US. But again, I could now see how mindset affects people. Some other person with what Messi had gone through, they will give up and say, you know what, this thing is not working. That what they will say, this thing is not working. They'll just give up. It's not working. It's not for me. It's all scam. But Messi came and said, please don't give up on me. I'm going to try next year. Just support me. I'm going to try next year. I'm like, I'm here for you. And when I see people like that are ready to do the work, and even when the challenges come, they are still ready to continue to push through. I want to support them. Me, when I was applying, I had my own fair challenges. All the other people that have secured all of the funding that they have relocated abroad, when you also speak to them, everybody had their challenges, but just that many of us, we give up before we succeed. If Messi had given up in 2023, this year in 2024, she will not be going to the US. She will still be where she is, mixing her cream and her skincare products and selling it. She will not be going to the US. Now she's going to the US to do a fully funded program in communications. Now, all of the stress don't matter. That she did sales in her business to make up money to pay for the study abroad training, then it doesn't matter anymore, because again, her investment has paid off. All the application fees that she paid that she did not get, it doesn't matter anymore because it has paid off. All the stress, the effort, writing statement of purpose, editing CV, doing this, that, all the things that she did, it doesn't matter anymore because it has paid off. So now she will be excited, just like a woman. When you are pregnant, you are sick and sick and sick, going through all this morning sickness. Later, when the baby is growing, you are feeling pain in your lower abdomen, all of the stress. Then you go into labor, all of that pain and everything. Once the baby is born, if you have given birth, it doesn't matter anymore. All of those pain, it's all over. It doesn't matter anymore. You have seen your joy. You have received your reward for all of those stress that you have gone through. It will all those stress, all those pain, it won't matter anymore. Even women, after they give birth to the first child, to say that they are not doing again, or the stress, the pain was too much. You see them giving birth to 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't matter anymore when you've received your bundle of joy. Once your good news, once you've received that success that you have invested in, you've invested for, it won't matter anymore. And now Messi is going. Yesterday, I tagged her with my full chest because I know that many people run to her DM. In fact, as I was tagging her, a few people that run to her DM, people patronize her and bought her skincare products. Because I know that so many times people are running to her DMs. She will send you back. I tagged her with my full chest yesterday, just so like people can go and ask her. And once she has entered the US, we are going to come here. She'll be live with me. Let her come and tell you, because only her can explain to you how she feels. I cannot really explain exactly how Messi felt, even if she told me. She's the one that felt the feeling of all the rejections, plus picking herself up, continue to do the work. Only Messi can explain that to you. And she's going to come live and she's going to tell you. So at the end of the day, what is the moral of this story? You see that your study gap, it is not the problem if you can package it. If Messi can package her study gap from what we taught her, she packaged her study gap, going back to even do a master's in communication after doing skincare, selling skincare products for a few years. She packaged it and put it. You know that sometimes some things that you think, like Messi was doing skincare products and selling skincare, and um she was her own marketer. All the social media posts that she did, everything is part of it too. You package it in your CV. Then after our first rejection, we talked about volunteer experience. We were big on volunteer experience. Do volunteer experience, get volunteer experience. These are things. And when I talk about, you cannot go back to change your CGPA, But there's some things that you can change. You can improve some things on your CV. Volunteering is one. When Messi will go on all the volunteering and do all of these outreaches, we will create content. Should we post it on LinkedIn? When you post on LinkedIn, she will even send me pictures, send me the link. I will tell her, yes, you are doing well. Some of these things are when you call package, because sometimes these people, these schools, these admissions committee, scholarship committee, they check you, they look you up on social media. When they check your name on social media, your LinkedIn profile will come out and they will look at you and they say, oh, yeah, this is what this person has been up to. They will see that you have been doing something, you are up to something. They will see it there. They will not only see you that you are doing social media and you are trolling people on the internet, they will see good things about you. The Messi started posting all of these things, all these beneficial things that she was doing. She started doing and sharing it on her LinkedIn. These are the things that she did from the first application that she did to the second one. And on the second time, she got 3 successes. But at the end of the day, you can either allow your mindset to either limit you or to push you. You see, two people grew up in the slum. One person, as a result of growing up in the slum, they're like, I will do everything that it takes to get out of this slum and to do better in my life so that I can give my children the best. And this person breaks out the poverty that the person have experiences, pushes them, motivates them to work hard, and they break free and they become wealthy. A second person in that slum, all they know is the slum and the poverty, and they continue in that line to remain poverty. They give birth to children in that poverty and do everything in the poverty. Two people, the same conditions, the same opportunities. Again, when you think about it, the mindset is a big factor. If you have the mindset to say that, yes, I'm going to do everything within my power to come out of this thing. I'm going to be looking out for opportunities. When I see the opportunities, I'm going to take action. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to put in my effort. You would see that person who has that mindset will come out, but the other person will be like, yeah, now so you don't the day here, blame his father. Yes, my father, when his mates were working, was doing nothing. He left us in this slum. Bro, you're an adult. He left us in this slum. Now we are stuck here. So at the end of the day, your mindset can either limit you or motivate you. If you have a growth mindset, then you will see that you will be doing more, you will go places, you will excel. When challenges come, he doesn't stop you, doesn't prevent you from giving, it doesn't stop you, doesn't make you give up. Instead, you push through the challenges, because it's only when you push through the challenges that you can get out of the tunnel. If you're in a tunnel, you have to be going forward and be pushing through it. That is the only hope that you have to see light. If you push through the tunnel so that you can come out on the other side. But you can decide that you will stay inside and you continue to remain in the dark tunnel. At the end of the day, you can be pushing yourself out of the tunnel while remaining in the dark until you see lights, or you can stay in the tunnel complaining and remain in the dark forever. It is up to you. You have to choose. But like I said, if you want to relocate abroad and you want to join us abroad, go and sign up for the study abroad crash course. We do this crash course once in a year. And the crash course is different from the study abroad masterclass. Crash course, we do it once in a year, where we teach you everything you need to learn for you to succeed. It's crash course. We call it crash course because it's a one-day course. Give you all the resources that you need so that you can get away, so that you can get started on your journey. The crash course is holding this Saturday, May 18th, and the deadline to join is on Friday. That's the deadline to register. So send me a message now to register. Because after Friday you cannot register again. You'll be getting the replay. If you come, you get the replay. But if you register now, you'll be able to join like live. It's a live class. I'll be there along with other coaches. We're going to do like daily tasks inside the class, look at your work inside the class, give you all of these resources you're learning. You're able to ask questions. But when you come and buy the replay, whatever you see there is what you take. So at the end of the day, it's up to you to decide, right? The opportunities are there for you. Will you take them? Do you see your relocation as a worthy investment for you to invest a little token to get all of this knowledge? Now, Messi has secured over $50,000 in scholarships. How much did she pay to learn? How much did she pay to learn? If she had not paid to learn this thing, she did not know these opportunities exist before that, the opportunities she can get them. How much did she pay to learn? Now she's not only secured that money, she's going to the US. She has changed the like she has given her future children to come a whole different path. And even if they choose that, this abroad is not for me, I want to go back to Nigeria, they are still Nigerian citizens, they can go back, but she has given her children an option. She has given them an option for them to live in a country with a system that works or not. But at the end of the day, it's up to you that is listening to me. Will you take action or will you not take action? Say that you can take a horse to the river, but you cannot force it to drink. I've told you everything that's what opportunities are available. I've put myself out there. I've shown you myself. I've shown you other people, told you about these opportunities. I've told you what to do. Will I force you to do it? No, it now depends on you. You either have to take action or not take action. Okay. So if you're taking action, send me a message to sign up. Now, let me take your questions. I've been talking since. I want to hear from you. Do you have questions? If you have questions, put your question in the question mark. Somebody made a comment on my post asking me about scholarship, but I'm just going to address it here. So the person said that if you get only full tuition scholarship, how do you show your living expense? Or will the scholarship say that they cover your living expense? Now, there are some scholarships that will cover your tuition, living expense, air ticket, laptop, everything, name it. There are some scholarships like that, but not all scholarships are like that. There are some scholarships that will only cover your tuition fees, and you have to show living expense. So you have to attach an additional proof of funds to show living expense, whether you're using your personal funds, whether you're using a sponsor, or you can go and apply for study loans and you can use that as additional proof of funds. So I just wanted to say that here, just so that you know, if you secure partial scholarship. So if scholarship only covers your tuition, then it's partial scholarship or full tuition scholarship. You need living expense and you need to get that money from somewhere else. And this is why I say that sometimes you can combine scholarships and study loans. So that's an option for you, but you need to make sure that you have applied to a school for admission in a school where you can actually get like that is eligible for study loans as well. So when you're applying to schools, you're looking at two things. You're making sure that your school is eligible for scholarship. Your school and your program is eligible for scholarship and is also eligible for loans at the same time. Just so that if your scholarship does not cover the entire amount you need as proof of funds, then you can apply for loans for the balance. Okay. What if I have 25 years study gap and wish to study again? Yeah, there's no problem with that. We just address that. You can study again even if you have 25 years study gap. Okay. So if we don't have any questions, we can call it a night. I can dismiss you guys so that you can go do whatever you have to do for the night or get ready for bed, because for some people it's late. To sign up for study abroad crash course, send me a message and just send me a DM, a direct message, and we'll take it up from there. Okay, you guys, thank you for joining me today. For those people that are just joined us for the first time, my name is Dr. Zeno. I recently completed my PhD at the University of Waterloo, planning for my convocation. I came to Canada as an international student many years ago, 7 years ago now. Yeah, with my 2-year-old, and I did my first of all did my master's fully funded, then started my PhD and did my PhD fully funded. I got all the kind of scholarships that you can think of. And now I teach people how to secure scholarships, study loans, any form of funding so they can relocate abroad. I don't want money. Money should not be your problem when you want to relocate abroad, when you're going to study abroad. So that's what I teach. And my students have secured over $4 million in scholarships. Wow, I'm proud. My students have secured over $4 million in scholarship, and they are in different countries: Canada, US, UK, Australia, other European countries, in Asia. Like we're spread over the world. In fact, right now, when I have somebody that is going to a place to study, I'm able to contact one of my persons in that place and say, "Oh, this person is coming here. Can you support the person? The person may have questions to ask regarding accommodation, something, something, something." And they're like, "Oh, fine, fine. Please give the person my phone number." It's exciting that I can support my people beyond even the training, beyond when they have gotten their visa, beyond when they have even landed in that country. I may not be physically there, but because I've helped, and supported so many people, and now have people positioned in different places that I can call. Like, yeah, it's very rewarding to have this, and it just means that we can now support more people because I'm no longer doing it alone. The other day, one of my mentees was going from the UK to New Brunswick. I know she was like having questions about accommodation. I've never been to the province of New Brunswick. New Brunswick is in Canada. About accommodation, like, it was kind of questions about regarding settling. And I couldn't answer some of these questions. I could tell her what's obtainable in Ontario, but of course I don't know everything, right? So I just say, I have three people in New Brunswick. Let me call somebody. So the first person I called, like, oh no, just give her my number. We'll support her, we'll help her. And I gave the number. These people, they live in the same building. So she helped us to get accommodation in her building. So they are like neighbors and they see themselves every day in that living in the same building in New Brunswick. My people in New Brunswick, they are formed like a community because there are many. I'm saying I have to go to New Brunswick because I'm going to use one stone to kill many birds because my people there are many, and they are there. They are supporting each other's families. You build a community just because they knew one person, and it's so exciting to see that I can support these people beyond just taking my training. It does not end when you take my training and I'll just abandon you to say to your tent, oh Israel, go and figure out yourself. If I can support you, I'll find a way. If I can help you, well, what's your question? Okay, let me see. Let me check my contact. Let me check my past students and see my people. I have somebody in this country in the US. I have somebody in this place in Australia. Let's see how they can help you. How can they support you? How can they answer your questions? That's the impact of a community. You're no longer dealing with one person, but now we are now many. We are beginning to spread out. That's what you benefit when you are part of a community. You are not alone. You're not even alone with one person. You are with multiple people, and each one will reach one and reach one and reach one. Okay, I'm beginning to go off on a tangent. I see that there's one question here. Let me see. We'll take it. And the scholarship recipient still qualified to work while studying? Of course, yes. For most scholarships, you can still work if you are studying in a country that allows students to work. For most scholarships, there are some scholarships, limited scholarships, that tell you that you cannot work because they want you to focus on your study. And this kind of scholarships, a scholarship that will tell you that you cannot work, be rest assured that the scholarship is going to cover everything. They cover your tuition, living expense, accommodation, it will cover everything. But again, there are many scholarships that you get and you can still work. Like for me, I was still able to work if I wanted to. I didn't work, but if I wanted to, I would have still been able to work. There are times where I took up teaching assistantships in my department. But yeah, it doesn't restrict you from working. A few will, but most of them won't. All right, everyone, take care and have a good night. And we'll see you when we'll see you. If you are joining us abroad and signing up for the study abroad crash course, send me a message. I'll be in my DMs. Bye, people. There is no age limit. Someone asking me if there is age limit. There is no age